Hey everybody, welcome to Deep Focus channel. I'm Aiden,
And I'm Andrew.
and today we're doing our Oscars video for 1950 through 1954. So if you remember in the past, we did in the 40s, we did a video giving our picks for Best Picture, the acting awards, director, and writing. So we're going to continue that today. Um, Yeah, so you have any like quick thoughts on this kind of time period, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I'm looking at the decade as a whole, I definitely lead more towards the latter half, at least in terms of ones I've seen and like my all-time favorites. But
Yeah.
as usual, there's always something that stands out. So I think when we get to 54, that's a particularly strong year for me. For some of the others, I did a bit more digging, so I didn't just go with the default picks I know most.
Yeah, I this is the first episode where for one of these years I did a different winner for each category. Um,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, so I wonder if we'll have the same year. I'm not sure. But yeah, so you want to get started, kick us off with 1850 and then I can go.
Sure. So guess we'll kick it off with Best Picture. So for that one, I'm going with Sunset Boulevard. Was nominated but lost pretty much everything to All About Eve, but original screenplay, because All About Eve was an adapted screenplay. This one's an atmospheric film, not afraid to go a bit demented, and some really iconic moments. And for a lot of the same reasons, I'm going Billy Wilder for Best Director in that as well. And then I will give All About Eve the screenplay. This one seems to really thrive on like wit and duplicity and blackmail, a classic tale involving like characters making moves to get themselves in a position of power and kind of the interplay between them. And for the 1950 actor, so with my aforementioned two being more like female spotlights, I'm going another route with Robert Newton. It's kind of the golden age face behind the classic literary character Long John Silver. So in Treasure Island, he gets the win there. For actress, going back to Sunset Boulevard, surprisingly, both Gloria and Betty Davis in All About Eve lost this one, but I've got to go with Gloria Swanson here in Sunset Boulevard. Very tense, unhinged performance played here. She kind of like loses kind of her composure over the course of the film, and it adds to the poignancy that she was like this past film star already making a big comeback with this one. So it's kind of like the art imitating life scenario, although she wasn't as wasn't struggling the way the character in the film was, thankfully. Supporting actor, that'll go to George Sanders in All About Eve. He's always a fun time, and here he gets to play like a manipulative critic, which is perfect for him. For supporting actress, I'm going with Josephine Hull in Harvey. She plays the older sister to James Stewart and tries to get him put in a sanitarium. She's quite funny in this role when she'd actually played on the stage first. So I guess she had some practice. So yeah, those are my picks for 1950.
All right. So yeah, we do have some overlap, so I'll get into it. My pick for Best Picture, going international, I'm gonna pick Rashomon. Um, yeah, I think this is just it's my favorite Akira Kurosawa film. I think it's just like really nails that kind of mystery aspect of the story, and it's also really eerie. But at the same time, it does have a sense of kind of like scope and spectacle. And I also like that I don't think there's a lot of other movies from around this time that really look like this. Like there's a lot of shots into like direct sunlight and really and like very obvious location stuff that I don't think you get in Hollywood movies. But the main thing is just the main story of the like mystery, I think is just really awesome. And I think it's a great movie. To mix it up, Best Director. Yes, Take a Shot. They're here again. Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger for the film Gone to Earth. And this one is mainly just here because the film is just visually gorgeous. It's shot on the Welsh countryside, so shout out Tom. But it looks amazing. There's a lot of just gorgeous shots of the sunsets and the grass and you really get a sense of nature, and it's in beautiful Technicolor too. But also that direction of the actors is also really great. Yeah, so best actor, I'm gonna go Humphrey Bogart from In a Lonely Place. I think this when I did my favorite Bogart performances, I said that I think this is his best one because I think it's his most kind of playing against type. Like he's so clearly kind of a shady character in this that it's really interesting. And the way he kind of adapts his like wise guy asshole with a heart of gold persona that he has in like I don't know, Casablanca or Key Largo or one of those movies. But in this one, it's like, no, there's no heart of gold. He's just a dick. Like that's pretty funny. And I think it's a really good performance for that reason. Um, Best Actress, Mashiko Kyo in Rashomon. Obviously, it's a really important part of the movie that the victim of the crime is believable. And I really like how she's played so differently in each account of the event because it really is like a very impressive acting job because she basically has to play three subtly different versions of the same character, which seems very hard to do, but she does a very good job. Um, my best supporting actor, I it's Robert Newton from Treasure Island, and I gave him supporting because when I looked at the credits, he was second. So, but I mean, he probably deserves lead actor though. So I agree with your pick for that reason. But yeah, so I love this movie. It's just like escapism, fantasy, spectacle. I just think it's great, and I think I considered him a couple years ago when we did Oliver Twist for supporting actor, but this I think he's just awesome. And he's kind of lovable, but at the same time, very much a villain, which is really cool. Best supporting actress, making up for the fact that I didn't give it to her for Black Narcissus when we did that. I'm going Kathleen Byron for Hour of Glory. It's a really good kind of war noir movie. She plays the girlfriend of like a British bomb specialist. And this is another Powell and Pressburger one, but this is just really tense, thrilling, has some surreal sequences, but her performance kind of anchors the film and makes the main characters seem more sympathetic and well-rounded. And then best screenplay, I haven't seen Sunset Boulevard, but I'm gonna give it this because I haven't seen a single Billy Wilder film that isn't like the best screenplay of its year. So I don't have much reason to think he would fuck up this time. So yeah, Sunset Boulevard for best screenplay. So there we go.
In your defense, it did actually win. That's the only Oscar it did win. So
hey, yeah, I got something right.
Yeah. So 51 for Best Picture. I'm going with Strangers on a Train, excellent Hitchcock psychological thriller with a premise that pretty much grabbed you from the start. As usual for Hitchcock, though, it didn't get that much traction on the award scene. For director, though, I'm going to actually have back-to-back Billy Wilder wins. Ace in the Hole for this one. This was apparently the start of him having more creative fingerprints on his works than ever, with the co-writing and producing it as well. Its commercial failure probably prevented it from having much of a chance, I guess, but there's a lot of satire and cynicism to go around here for the time. But for screenplay, I'm going back to Strangers on a Train. The scheming, double-crossing, things not going according to plan really demand a tight script, and this one delivers. For actor, that'll go to Marlon Brando, A Streetcar Named Desire. His second screen film, as far as I know, and generally seen as the start of a great run that he had in the 50s. And also for 51, I'm giving it to Vivien Leigh in Streetcar Named Desire. So She's playing the Southern Belle, Blanche Dubois, and these two play off each other really well. She does a great job. And I guess to make it a real performance factor here for supporting actor, I also gave it to Streetcar Named Desire with Carl Malden. Its stage background to this film, I guess it lends itself to that. Malden plays Mitch, and much like Brando, he reprises his role. And I think his comfort in that really shows through. For supporting actress, that'll go to Marion Lauren, Strangers on a Train. She plays Mrs. Anthony, the mother to Robert Walker's character. She kind of brings this blend of like maternal warmth, but also with like a screw loose that helps to inform maybe her son's background a bit. So very interesting character there.
Yeah. So this one, 51, this is the year I've got 7 winners, 7 categories. So best picture, this isn't like a popular choice, but it's just my favorite. I've got The Lavender Hill Mob. I just cannot have a bad time watching this film. Every time I see it, it's like, it's just so enjoyable. It's so fun. And I just love the characters, and I'd give it more awards if I could, but this and Another Year Next Time will be my top 2 of the 50s. So I wanted to spread some love. Best director, I've got John Huston in The Red Badge of Courage. The way he shoots this movie is really great. There's just so much attention to detail in the staging. It almost looks more like a film noir than like a film. There's a lot of really harsh framing and tight close-ups and things like that really work. Best actor, doing Alistair Sim in The Christmas Carol. I think he's just my favorite Scrooge because I think he does the best at being like the evil asshole at the beginning, and then at having the change of heart at the end. Like he's the best at doing both of those so well. I just think it's great. Best actress, I'm gonna do Katharine Hepburn in The African Queen. Yeah, it's just like really I just really like this movie. Like it's just it won best actor and some other stuff, maybe best director and too, but like yeah, it's just a really great movie. I think it's I don't think it's like Houston's best, but I think it's his best at delivering like a blockbuster kind of thing. It's just really great, and especially coming out the same year as The Red Badge of Courage, although this is definitely better. Supporting actor, I'm going to do Robert Walker from Strangers on a Train. The way he plays the like psycho character is just awesome. Like from the very first frame, he just has like this magnetic screen presence that just carries over so well. And he has that, very compelling sense about him where he's a villain, but you still love to see him on screen. Best supporting actress, I've got Joan Greenwood from The Man in the White Suit, another movie I just love. I love these Ealing comedies. I love the way they're shot. I love the pacing of them. I just think they're great movies. And I think they're really underrated. Best screenplay, yeah, I'm gonna do Billy Wilder, Ace in the Hole. I think this is like a very dark one for him. I feel like it's probably his most like depressing movie, which I like that. Even he's a lot of his stuff veers more towards comedy, which I also like a lot, but in this case he really gets to do something very kind of hits you in the gut, so that's cool. Yeah, and that's going to be my screenplay winner. So one for each category, 7 and 7. There we go.
Well, at least I think we still had 2 or 3 films overlap.
Yeah, we at least had like Ace in the Hole and Strangers on a Train and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 52, I didn't find myself with as many options this year. I haven't seen as many, and there didn't seem as many that I could look up and research that might have fit the bill. But was kind of settled with my Best Picture winner, Singing in the Rain. Just has that kind of undeniable movie magic. The title sequence alone is worth the price of admission there. For director, that'll go to Fred Zinnemann, High Noon, classic Western. You really do get a sense of the small town and the inevitability of this showdown. So really cool movie. And I also gave High Noon the screenplay. Don't want to discount the writing component and bring this one out. There's some nice monologues, a good structure to the story. And I guess I really liked High Noon because I gave it to Gary Cooper. He was the actual best actor winner here, doing a lot of the heavy lifting in the signature role. But I'll mix it up a bit, pulling from a suspense thriller here for Best Actress, Joan Crawford in Sudden Fear. She plays a playwright. Happy marriage at first is revealed to be much darker and more sinister. So she has a lot of emotional beats that she needs to hit there. And for supporting actor, I went back to High Noon, Lon Chaney Jr. This was kind of his transition from like B-horror star to character actor. And he's actually cast in a role quite a bit older than himself. It's kind of neat to see him bring that wariness as this former marshal. And lastly, for supporting actress, Jean Hagen Singing in the Rain. Originally nominated for the part, she's basically the antagonist of the film, vindictive character, very different from how she presents herself on the stage. So yeah, that's my picks for 1952.
Yeah, we overlap a bit. This also was like the hardest one for me. Because I don't know if it just feels like there's not as many like classics this year. But Best Picture, I'll continue the High Noon love. It's gonna be my Best Picture winner. I love how it plays in real time. I love the inner conflict with the Gary Cooper character of the sheriff. I just think it's a really great movie, and I think it nails so many things about its genre and about, it's very small scale for a Western, especially comparing it to like other classics, Stagecoach and Magnificent Seven, things like this. This is like a lot more intimate, which is cool. Best director, back to Orson Welles, The Tragedy of Othello. I don't think this is like a great movie because I don't think the script is that good, but I think the direction is like amazing. Like it just looks beautiful. And the way the story is told visually makes up for some of the problems, I think, with the way it's written. Best actor, yeah, I'm gonna do Gary Cooper and High Noon. This is a movie that does not work unless the main performance is great, because that's what the whole movie's riding on. So it's great that he did a great job because it really sells the movie. Best actress, I'll do Debbie Reynolds in Singing in the Rain. It's just like, especially thinking about how young she was, just debuting in this incredible movie that just, it's just like such pure spectacle. And I love all the characters, including her, and it's just a really great movie to watch. Best supporting actor, I'm gonna go back to Othello because I'm gonna give it to Michael McLemore. I mean, the character of like Iago is very important to any adaptation of Othello. I think he does a good job because he really captures the kind of jealousy that's at the core of the character, which I think is just essential. And I really like how conniving, kind of evil he is. Best supporting actress, I'll do Grace Kelly in High Noon. It's interesting because a lot of people at the time didn't like the ending because she like saves Gary Cooper, and they were like, this isn't a Western, it's kind of like original like hysteria over it. But including John Wayne, I think he didn't like that. But she's great in the movie. I just really like her as the like a Quaker wife, where she's like torn between violence and nonviolence, and eventually has to come to the aid of the sheriff. And then as script, I'll do High Noon as well, Carl Foreman and Stanley Kramer. It's like a ticking time bomb. Any movie I think that does this kind of like in real time storytelling will get some points for me, because it's very hard to do that this well, and they absolutely do it very well. So yeah, do that. We got only 3 winners this year though, not 7.
Nice. Well, we can take away that High Noon is definitely one of the highlights of the year, I guess, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 53 is the year where every category is a different winner for me. So this will be interesting to run through. So I also went international for this one for Best Picture, Ugetsu. So here's like an acclaimed film out of Japan that mixes like history and this low fantasy thing and puts them together in like this ethereal way. Maybe only the way this region can do so well. So very cool. For director, I'm giving that to George Stevens with Shane. Want to give this one a shout out for like its amazing cinematography and scenery, and also for some of the shot choices that feel quite ahead of their time. Studied this one. I've been in film class back in the day, actually. Not as sure on the story, that being anything special on its own, but it really makes the most of the visual medium, so I really wanted to highlight him for director there. And for screenplay, I'm going with The Big Heat. And like we're back in film noir land here. It's not shying away from presenting like a world of corruption, a lot of cruelty and brutality. And I guess where the other two are more like a visual spectacle, this one's more a character work. And for actor, Stalag 17, William Holden, another actual winner, playing a cynical POW with like this penchant for wheeling and dealing. Good job in bringing this kind of almost like an anti-hero role to the forefront that isn't in a film noir. So I thought that's cool. For 1953 Best Actress, I'm going with Audrey Hepburn, Roman Holiday, and I'm also echoing the Academy with this pick. This was kind of a breakout role, and she's perfectly cast as like the charming, like archetype of this graceful princess who has this underlying hidden stubbornness and sense of adventure. For supporting actor, I'm going with Frank Sinatra for From Here to Eternity, lining up with the Academy one last time. Plays something of a tragic figure here as a private in this war drama. And lastly, I wasn't sure for supporting actress which one I wanted to go with, but I'm going to go with Carolyn Jones in House of Wax, actually. Not a huge part, but she makes an impression as this kind of like callous, I guess, gold-digging roommate, and ultimately serving as a driving catalyst for the more lead role played by Phyllis Kirk. I guess if she counted as supporting actress, because she's not top billed, she might take it instead. But for now, I'll go with Carolyn Jones.
Yeah, I've got 4 this year, 4 movies. Best Picture, I think this is actually, I'm gonna go Stalag 17. I think it's actually the first Billy Wilder Best Picture I've picked. Won't be the last. It's awesome. I love how it's able to blend like kind of being a comedy and having a light edge to it, with also having a bit of grit from the wartime setting and the suspense of trying to figure out who the mole is. And likewise, yeah, William Holden, I'm gonna give Best Lead Actor to, lining up with the Academy there. He just so succeeds in doing a character that is completely obnoxious and not likable, but still you actually root for him as the protagonist. It's a very kind of delicate combination, I guess, to get right. For Best Actress, I'll also do Audrey Hepburn, Roman Holiday. You know, I just think it's like she's such a classic actress, and she's so great in everything that it's great to see like where she starts out as this kind of star of the screen. And she's in like, it's funny, she's in like the Lavender Hill Mob for like 5 seconds, but not in an important part. Like she just like walks past the screen basically. But yeah, this is a real debut. Best supporting actor. It's Stalag 17, but I can't say what it is because Stalag 17 has like a 11th hour twist ending. So if I say who the winner is, it'll like give it away. So it's redacted, but it's from this movie. I guess it's a bit like witness for the prosecution in that sense. But yeah, so and then best supporting actress. I wanted to mix it up, so I'm gonna do Catherine Beaumont doing the voice acting in Peter Pan. I just wanted to throw in some Disney because this is my favorite like classic Disney movie. So I just wanted to give that side of like films a little bit of love, even if most of the time they aren't like in the contention for absolute best kind of picture stuff. Best director, I'll do Ida Lupino doing The Hitchhiker. It's a really good, tightly written film noir. It reminds me a lot of like Detour, because it has that same kind of grim, low budget edge to it. And all of the main performances are great, and it's just super taut and tense all the way through, which just is great to see. And then best screenplay, I'll also do Stalag 17 because I think balancing all these tones, balancing so many characters and making them all likable is just awesome. It's a great movie. Yeah, so that's my picks.
Very nice. So see Stalag 17 to find out that other pick. All right, so this was my favorite year of the bunch, 54. Kind of a stacked year for me. Ultimately, I settled on Rear Window for Best Picture, partly because like of the impact that it has on film history, the way it brings out like this voyeuristic quality to filmmaking in such a brilliant way. And I also want to give Alfred Hitchcock the win for director for that. It was an idea that could still be stagey if not for like a really good execution, and really brings it out. It'll be a sweep for Hitchcock, but screenplay has to be Dial M for Murder. Probably the easiest pick for me out of this whole series so far. Phenomenal script where basically every detail matters and it's carefully crafted. Captivating story from pretty much beginning to end. Love it. If it was just my favorite film, that would probably be it. For Best Actor, that'll go to Marlon Brando with his second win on The Waterfront. Another iconic performance from him. An actor who brought this like newer style of acting to his performances, a bunch of classic lines, and a role with a lot of inner turmoil that the character needs to struggle with. For Best Actress, that'll go to Grace Kelly in Rear Window. Actually, a really kind of complex character study going on here. She has money and beauty, things people often strive for, but she really seems driven to prove herself capable in other ways. And she does. She's an independent thinker and shows a lot of agency in the story. She's almost like the secret hero of what's going on, with Jimmy Stewart being more the passive, audience surrogate. So yeah, she's great. For supporting actor, that's John Williams in Dial M for Murder. He was a Hitchcock regular on Alfred Hitchcock Presents, so it's only fitting he gets to highlight the kind of role he played in those in a film like this. Really entertaining foil to Ray Milland as this inspector who's kind of like sniffing around and noticing that there's something that's not quite right with the story of what happened, how it's being portrayed. And lastly, supporting actress, Eva St. Marie on The Waterfront. Some might almost consider her a lead, maybe. But at any rate, she seems like a strong pick if going for this supporting spot like the Academy did. Her interplay with Brando, like the scene in the park, really shines here. And those are my picks for 1954.
Yeah, so I guess I'm taking away that I need to watch Dial M for Murder because I still haven't seen it. I think it's like maybe the only like 50s Hitchcock film I haven't seen other than like the really obscure ones like I Confess and stuff like that. So I'll check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it sounds so. Yeah, I think if I redo this list, I'll probably get some slots because I do really love classic Hitchcock. But Best Picture, I'll do Rear Window lineup. It's just a great movie. Like I agree that it could be stage bound in the hands of like a worse director, which is why I'll also give Hitchcock the best director award, because I think it's such a thrilling movie and it's so well told. You know, I think it's just one of my favorite of this classic Hitchcock period. You know, so many great movies around this time, To Catch a Thief and Who Knew Too Much, but like this is maybe the best of this era. And then best actor, I'll do James Mason in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I think it's really unique that he gets to at the center of this like Disney adventure fantasy movie. You get such a like morally gray kind of complicated anti-hero, which I guess harkens back to the film's literary roots. And that's just great to see. Best actress, yeah, Grace Kelly, Rear Window. I just think it's just this movie just is great. Like I could give it every award, but I want to have a little variety, I guess. But yeah, still awesome. You know, maybe toss it screenplay while we're at it, whatever. But best supporting actor, I'll do Kirk Douglas in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I think he's a great counterbalance to James Mason in that he's playing more of a straight up hero, more of like a noble character. I think that's really cool. Yeah, it's just his whole performance is really great. Best supporting actress, I'll do Momoko Kochi in Godzilla, the original one. Just want to shout out this movie because I think yeah, I saw it like pretty long time ago, like, and I was just very shocked at how much better it was than kind of I was expecting. Like it has a lot more like drama and character than you really expect, and much more than any of the like sequels do. So props for that. And yeah, screenplay, Rear Window, because it's any movie that has this like play stage bound kind of thing and works on the big screen is just such a winner off the bat. So yeah, those going to be my 1954 picks. So yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, great picks. And
Yeah.
forward to seeing what the rest of the 50s brings.
Gonna be-
There's a lot of good films coming up.
It's gonna be torture on some of these.
57 would be a bloodbath.
57, I have like 10 like that I would like to give every award to. It's too brutal. But yeah. So yeah, we'll see you when that happens. So catch you guys later. It's the Deep Focus, and hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, whatever, do all that. Take care, guys.
Bye.